I'm Alessandro, I'm 30, I come from North Italy in a small town between Rome and Venice, and I've been in London for roughly 7 years. Growing up in Italy, I was always in touch with my grandpa. We used to do lots of things together, and he taught me a lot of different things, including gardening. And he had a small garden in the town, so a sort of urban garden. And when I moved to London, basically I felt the need to find an area for myself that was submerged in nature and disconnected from the routine, from the reality, let's say. So I decided to create first a balcony with a few plants, and then I moved to a bigger garden with lots of different plants and a great biodiversity to grow my own food. Gardening is my main passion because it's great to start a seed, and in the end you can harvest your own food. You can literally do this anywhere in the world. You don't need specific instructions or skills. Anyone can do this, and this is exactly the reason why I'm super into it. I really love it, and also I would love to connect more people through gardening. So what I'm trying to do, for example, in my front yard, I converted it into a vegetable garden, so I can help the neighbors to transform their own as well, and also give them, free food, because I don't sell any of my produce, but I give it away for free. And my main goal would be one day to teach and have my own lessons on how to garden, how to make your own food in either a small space, a big space, or whatever space you have available. Everyone can make their own produce, everyone can eat organic, healthy, and not relying on supermarkets that they produce food that is full of chemicals and really bad for our body. The way we're living, especially in the modern society, we feel this missing link with nature. All the times that we feel depressed or we have these kind of feelings is because we are no longer connected with nature. And the best way to do this is to create your own space and grow your own food in a way that it's organic and it's not dangerous for your body, and it's gonna help you to live in a sustainable way. Roughly in 2015, I started having my first growing space. As I mentioned, it was just a growing space on a balcony, so a really restricted space, but still I managed to grow a lot of food and I learned a lot by trial and error, and luckily I managed to move to a bigger space. It took me about 3 years to set up the actual space that I have now, because every year I'm adding up, I'm changing things, and I can't wait for the next season to plant something else, something different, and grow new things in the garden. So in the garden, what I'm trying to do is to apply different techniques, including permaculture and natural farming, but the whole point is to reduce the waste and use a closed circle technique. So it basically means that I don't have any sort of wastage. Whenever a plant it's finished from producing, whenever I harvest all the fruit from a plant, I can then chop it down into pieces and feed it to the worms because I have a worm bin, or I could put it into the compost and transform it into new nutrients that I can then apply into the garden, and so this cycle keeps going on, and it's sort of reproducing the natural cycle. So trying to work along with nature, work in the same way that nature does in the natural environment. Right now in my garden I'm growing a few different things, including varieties of tomatoes and cucumbers and different herbs, chilies, because I'm really passionate about chilies. That's the way I started gardening. And also I've got different courgettes, aubergines, corn, and they're all heirloom seeds, which means they're all kind of rare variety of seeds which are not hybridized. They are sort of pure seeds. And this is a thing that I highly recommend to everyone, to not source hybrid seeds, but to try and source heirloom varieties and save your own seeds. In my backyard, I grow different kind of things, using a lot of different techniques, but all organic. I don't use any sort of chemical, pesticide or fertilizer. and I try to condense as many fruit and vegetables in a small space as I can, the more I can. So basically, you could potentially use square foot gardening to grow different kind of vegetables in a really restricted space, or there are other techniques that you could apply to actually harvest your food. In my garden, for example, I grow a variety of different things, and the cool thing that I managed through the vertical spaces and through my greenhouse to grow a lot of food in a really condensed area. It's just an 8 by 5 meters, but I still managed in full production during the summer to produce around 50% of my total amount of vegetables that I have available throughout the season. And everything is organic, and it's absolutely easy to do so. It just requires a bit of work and planning, but anyone can do it, and this is exactly why I'm trying to teach people how to do this. In the garden, I made a different kind of DIY project using recycled items. So, for example, you could use plastic bottles to create a really cool vertical garden, and you could grow strawberries or many other kind of different things. I also used unused wood, parquet, from a house down the road, and I created a bench where people can sit. Potentially, I used bricks from a house on the other side of the street to create a fire pit and to create the border of one of the raised beds. So there are many ways to use materials and recycle. You just need to reinvent yourself and create something that gives a bit of a unique character to your garden. Something that really helped me during my journey of gardening was a book called Jadam, which is basically called KNF as well, which means Korean Natural Farming. It's a way of farming that it's based on what's really available around your area and cheap. So in this way, you can grow your own food using not things bought from the supermarket. The most case scenario, they claim it as organic, but are not. But you can make your own inputs for the garden using just brown sugar and plant material. Or you could potentially use potatoes and other kind of things that could be introduced into your garden to improve the soil web or to make your plants more vigorous and resistant to pests and disease. The issue whenever you go to the supermarket and you buy vegetables or produce made by big companies, first of all, it's these vegetables are full of chemicals, and imagine that a pesticide kills microorganisms, which means we are made as well of microorganisms, and imagine the damage that could do to our body. And also all the packaging around these fruit and vegetables are going to waste, and there are really limited ways to recycle them. So a quick and easy thing to fix it, even on a balcony, on a windowsill, or on your backyard, you could transform it and create, even if it's just the 5% of your food, the total food that you can eat during a week, it's still something, it's still a step forward reducing wastage. My plans for the future are to obviously scale up to a bigger size garden and potentially having a farm with an animal sanctuary and growing food there, but like also having tours of people coming over and helping them to have the whole experience of like harvesting something or growing something from seed. So in this way, people will feel a bit more connected to this and not so distant, because right now in this society they feel it like a really distant thing that it's really hard to connect with. But I'm sure that if I'm gonna manage to have my own space, my own homestead, it will be absolutely possible to convert more and more people into this, and eventually like one day like start having town flourished with vegetables and different flowers and many ways of creating your own food. My name is Alessandro Vitale, and this is my voice.